from GDFB. This time it's their Gjermundbu helmet. This helmet's a pretty rugged construction. It's 14 gauge. It's of mostly welded construction. The straps on here, in the case of this, they're actually just riveted on decoration, as opposed to this, where the front and back are actually functional. So that's why on the Gjermundbu they're using fairly small rivets to attach that. The rim is riveted on, as well as the ocular. The ocular is not too structural, so it can, stand to have the smaller rivets. And the ocular is actually 16 gauge instead of 14. It actually comes with a leather suspension inside, as well as the chin strap. This helmet is based on obviously the Gjermundbu helmet, which is the only truly Viking helmet to be found. It was found in Norway, and it was the helmet of a chieftain. That being said, in my opinion, this is only loosely based on the Gjermundbu helmet. If you look at the original, the ocular on this one is wrong. It's the wrong shape. It doesn't have the same character to it that the Gjermundbu does. As well, the basic shape of the helmet is slightly wrong. I believe it was actually a little more domed and less tall than this. So if you're looking for a perfect replica or a good, or even a really good replica of it, consider going elsewhere. This helmet is, in my opinion, more of a representation of a Viking spectacle helm, less of a representation of the Gjermundbu helmet. That being said, with a price point of $115, this is an alright deal for the money. It will protect your head pretty well. It does fit with authenticity standards for most, but not all, shows. And with a few modifications can actually be made safe. Now, that is because it actually comes with a spike on the top that has to be removed and filed down. That's only about a 10-minute job with a hacksaw file. So that's what that little nub there is. They all come with spikes. Some with more ornate spikes than others. This one is just more or less almost like a nail off the top. Some come with more like an arrowhead, which I think if the Gjermundbu did actually have a spike, that would be more like it than just a chunk of metal sticking at the top. And I'm sort of on the fence as to whether the Gjermundbu would have actually had a true spike on top, because to me that's not exactly the most functional thing for a helmet to have. So it either didn't have an actual spike, or the helmet was more ceremonial than we think. But anyway, there are some fit and finish issues with this helmet, where the ribs meet this cap. They don't come in at a symmetrical angle at all. There's different gaps and stuff in it, and that's something that if a little more care was taken in its construction, you wouldn't have these. Same goes for in the ocular. There's actually a bit of roughness, there's quite a lot of burrs and everything in here. That, again, if a little more care was taken, that would have been taken care of in the first place. But it wasn't. And that's kind of what I've come to expect with the cheaper brands of helmets and things. And if you bought this helmet and you were so inclined, you could actually correct that problem and start to correct the issue here, where the original Gjermundbu has a piece that flares out here, whereas this kind of just goes to a point. You could actually file this out because they've left material width of material here as opposed to here, so you could, in theory, bring that in just a little bit to create that if you wanted to. But for the money, it's not a bad deal. It certainly will protect your head. There's no doubt about that. But it isn't the most perfect thing in the world. And so if you're looking for something that is, go elsewhere. If you're looking for something that will protect your head and not look too bad, this is it. And again, just another point on the differences between a spectacle helm and a nasal helm. With the spectacle helm, you're trading visibility for a little bit of defense, because if an axe comes in next to your nose, it's not going to get in unless it fits into the eye slot. But that's a really awkward angle to swing an axe at. Then you have to be very accurate. And so it hits here, hits metal, not your face. With the nasal helm, if something swings in, there is a chance it could miss the nasal altogether. It could hit like this and bridge, but chances are it's going to miss the nasal altogether and hit you in the face. But you can see side to side a lot more because there's nothing really obstructing your vision. With the spectacle helm, these pieces really do mess with your peripheral vision, where you can see out here, but about here you have chunks of metal in the way, so you have these blind spots. So you might not see something coming in at certain angles. So you're trading a bit of visibility for more protection, or vice versa. So they both are actually, in my opinion, evenly matched when it comes to their safety factor. It just means that with both of them, you really need to fight somebody who has very good weapon control, and they're not going to stick this in your face. And you have to be cognitive as to where your opponent's blade is, or shield even, so that you don't get hit with it. Sometimes your opponent isn't quite paying attention to what they're doing, and they put the axe in a spot that, or the sword or whatever, in a spot that it shouldn't be. But then you're also not quite paying attention, and you walk into it. Equally at fault, and it ends up with a bloody face. So it's just being cognitive as to what's going on. Your helmet's not really going to make that much of a difference unless you have a full face, because you could get hit in the face either way. This is only minorly more protective than nasal helm. It is protection for the eyes, so that's fairly important. But either way, you're having some trade-offs for other benefits. So anyway, so that's it. This is a decent helmet. It's fairly tough. It is fairly heavy, but it weighs about the same as the Spangen helm. So it's sort of a trade-off as to what you want aesthetically and what you want to trade off for with protection versus field of view. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I will post links in the description, both to the GDFB page as well as the Cult of Athena page where this one was purchased. If you like what you see, don't hesitate to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And thank you for watching. And like before, remember, get a helmet that fits with an arming cap. It makes your life a lot easier if you get hit in the head. And as well, this helmet, again, could do with having an aventail. I believe the original did have an aventail, so I don't know why this one doesn't. Maybe it's to save money, but it would also keep the wobble down and the center of gravity down a little bit. So